Quick message from our sponsor. Imagine if you could make your destination page match your messaging, eliminate leaks and distractions when sending someone from an ad or message, remove friction and make it easy to buy. Dream no more. Checkout Links is a simple but powerful app that lets you quickly create specialized bundles in a mini landing page that syncs directly with your Shopify checkout. Preload the shopping cart to reflect your order in that specialized bundle. You can automatically apply discounts so they don't have to manually type it in. And then you can also track individual link performance and so much more. You can find other creative ways to use them with your paid ads, customer support chats, holiday offers, new product launches, email and SMS campaigns, or even rewarding your VIP customers. Go to checkoutlinks.com/Matt to learn more and install the Shopify app. That's checkoutlinks.com/Matt. This is Brand Builders. We've been actively working in D2C land for years and are continuing to be in the trenches daily. I'm Matt Lady, one of the co-hosts. Each week, I have an episode with Tom Brown and an episode with Richie Nishiko. Sometimes we'll have one together. We are here to share our unfiltered, candid, casual perspectives, insights, lessons, experiences on building a D2C brand. We text about this stuff all the time and are super nerds about all things e-commerce, and we just want to share this with you and hope you get something from it. Enjoy the show. All right, so this episode, we're going to start off with going to you, Tom. You tweeted out this like pretty typical standard Twitter bio change and head of growth and this like emoji like teasing out your next job and this next opportunity. I'm not even giving you too much shit for it because I did the same exact thing a few weeks ago, and a lot of people liked it and engaged with it. It was fun. So what's that all about? And if you hold on, if you're already listening to this, you already know what this is about. You guys are on the inside. You're on the inside scoop. So, Tom, talk to us. What's going on there?
Full disclosure, I stole this from you and I think from Kelly Vaughan. I think that did it beforehand. Like just going in, recording a video, like changing the bio, and like here's where I'm now working. Like it's kind of a fun way to announce it. So long way of saying, yeah, I've been teasing. Like so, I joined Hutch here in the UK. In essence, they're a 3PL with a tech stack kind of built on top of it. Everything is very much focused around post-purchase and around customer retention. That's kind of the premise of Hutch. But yeah, they approached me a few weeks ago as joining them as head of growth, which say I've accepted. And yeah, this is kind of the first time I really get to start talking about it publicly. So it's good fun.
Yeah. We've been whispering about it on this show.
We have.
But we're just getting started, so it's not like all of our followers on Twitter yet listen, So we're still getting there. So as head of growth at Hutch, and you've been there for I think at least 4 weeks.
I guess we just crossed over 4 weeks. So okay, yeah, it's been getting like the new site across the line, which is tryhutch.co.uk. A lot of that, and then it's just been setting up like sequences, making sure like we got CRM in place, so we're using Pipedrive for that. Nice. And really, to be honest, just a ton of market research, figuring out why like past customers have joined, if they've left, like why have they left. Going through a lot of the sort of warm inquiries that we had, warm leads that have come into Hutch, but no one's perhaps touched or really done anything with. And to be honest, that was because for the last couple of years, they've been so in the weeds that they've kind of like they've missed a lot of opportunities, full disclosure. Yeah. They know they have. So it really is a case of, they just got this new warehouse. So we just moved from London out to Essex, much, much bigger premise. So there's definitely, there's room to grow. The pressure is on. Put it that way. I went out to the warehouse for the first time on Friday. It's a fairly large space.
Like, whoa, look at all this room. Oh, wait, That's my job to fill it.
That's my job.
Oh, shit. So you talked about the marketing, the new website, the CRM, and like the leads. So as we've kind of touched on it before, I believe it's like you were marketing and sales kind of. Like
correct.
If someone inquires and you get a lead, you're going to then be taking the intro call while the other founder, the co-founders and the other team members are like working on the tech stack, working on the actual warehouse operations and fulfilling the orders. So how are you thinking about balancing, or because balancing is such a trigger word for some people, and it's like this 50-50, like, oh, perfect balance. Like, how do you think you'll find your sync or your ups and downs of like marketing versus sales?
That honestly is a really good question. I have, for the last couple of years, been just so strict with my calendar, like, actually putting blocks of time in. So knowing when I'm like sort of most creative, and equally knowing when, even when I'm not creative, like putting the time in to just do creative work and just kind of forcing myself to get into some kind of state and just, getting something down in a Google Doc or on paper. So like I'm starting to put a lot of that sort of stuff in my calendar already. So, there's like Monday morning is blocked out for a lot of like content work. Tuesday, then kind of a lot of editing. Wednesday, it's then like actually publishing a lot of it, or certainly queuing a lot of it up. So that's more on sort of the marketing side. And then really like afternoons and probably evenings will be mostly a focus on sales calls, if I can make that work. That's kind of the plan going into it. So it's really like try and compartmentalize that time a little bit is the plan. I'm sure it will all go to pieces over the next few weeks. But that's really plans. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, no, dude, like that sounds like a great plan. And knowing myself, you, people like us, like we can make pretty good plans, but like life doesn't always allow us to stick to it, and shit just happens. So I like how you've broken up the content process across 3 days at least, because there really is the different phases. You get it all out, you get the draft, you get the main ideas out, down, recorded, whatever, written. The next time you go back to it, you're editing, you're refining, that doesn't make any sense. Or, this is how I can make it sound even stronger or better. This is actually a bigger point than I originally thought. Then the next day is how to actually distribute and publish it.
Yeah.
So I like how you thought of it like that, because in my perfect schedule, that's what I would do too. But I don't always do that. I sometimes do everything within 2 hours. I'm like, all right, good enough, and then just send it. But I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, it is. Like trying to build a system around it as best as possible. Trying.
So yeah. You systemize and processize, but you're only one man so far. It's just you. It's just you, marketing and sales. So what's kind of the main sort of marketing channel or two that you've sort of identified and think you're going to focus on first?
So we've brought a guy in that's going to run paid media in terms of like Google ads. It's really just trying to capture some of that search volume that already exists in the UK. A bit on Facebook and a bit on LinkedIn. So we're going to try those three on sort of the paid side. In terms of organic, that's going to be mostly to begin with Twitter and LinkedIn. And I'll be honest, it's taken a lot of inspiration from the guys at Audit. It's taken a lot of inspiration from the guys at Triple Whale in terms of like Twitter strategy. And then it's actually looking more at almost like, I don't want to say influencers, but kind of creators and the way that they are creating and distributing content on LinkedIn. And really just replicating that or taking a lot of inspiration from that. And again, just trying to build like systems and processes around it of like, how to build hooks, how to actually tell the right stories within like the framework of a 3PL that actually engage people and aren't just us talking about packing another order. Like, there's so much more I feel like we can talk about, mostly to do with like the post-purchase experience beyond just packing an order, particularly with the tools and everything that Hutch have built. That's kind of the plan there. Yeah,
that's really cool. And I initially thought, as you first started talking, just organic social and paid? No SEO, no blogs, no owned media, but but like I'm saying, like as you went on, I'm like, wait, that's exactly what I've been thinking about, like with Stumptown. I'm like trying to like go everywhere, be everything all at once and all over, and then because I know how to do everything, and then like I want to do it all, and it's just like, okay, well, hold on, we talked about it the other day. The other episode is like getting all the shit out of the orange when you squeeze it. and like, we just like, okay, I just like, you tap the orange and then you get a little bit out. Like, all right, I'm done on paid ads. Like, no, like we're just getting started, right? I can squeeze so much more out of that. There's probably a second orange lying around somewhere. So there's so much more I can do there. And I'm sure with you and I both having pretty limited resources and team and stuff like that, So it totally makes sense to me now as you kept going, because I was like, wait, dude, that's what you've been thinking about too.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely, we've had a lot of discussions around like, this budget for doing like a podcast, this budget for building like, some kind of studio and creating a YouTube show. And it's like, we could do all of these things at once. That would be fantastic. And I would probably burn out in about 3 weeks. Yeah. And so would the rest of the team. So it's like, how do we, let's get Twitter up and running. Let's get LinkedIn up and running. Let's build that process. And then, maybe around like January next year. Okay. Then we'll start to focus on like, what's the next kind of strategy? SEO, like we're definitely starting to put some things out. I mean, I wrote like 3 or 4 blog posts and had written like a couple more over the last few weeks, just that are kind of prepped, ready to go. But I think it kind of comes down to like short and long term. It's definitely something we come onto more and more, I swear. But yeah, like I feel like Twitter, LinkedIn is kind of like that. We can quickly get out and create that kind of content, as opposed to like blogging. Like it's gonna take a while for that to gain traction. So we'll start building it in the back end. But yeah, I wouldn't be expecting like instant results from that in the same way.
Right. No, short and long term, it's I don't know if it's annoying for people listening that we keep coming back to it, but I think it's so helpful. I think it's so like being able to talk about it and get it out of my head. And just because I know that I want to diversify my channels at some point, and I know how to do it. I know exactly who to hire, how to start, and do it efficiently. Yeah. That's the curse of knowledge sometimes. It's like we're both kind of starting back over almost at these experience, like not from zero, obviously. Hutch has had great success on its own before we came on. Stumptown had success for a decade in retail and then now D2C. So not from zero, but much less. And it's new to us. And we're still learning the ins and outs of the products and the actual end consumer and all that stuff. So short term, I can make our Facebook ads better because they were horribly mismanaged. And that will help in the short term. And I got the Google Ads freelancer in too. So he's going to restructure the entire account because it's horribly mismanaged too. Mm-hmm. So that's short-term stuff. But that's also like long-term at the same time because those are the main driving channels. And that's how we can scale. But at the SEO, I'm like, we could just start out pretty small and it's like outsourced and it's like mostly other people doing it, and it's pretty cheap, and then it just builds up. So when I need it in 8 or 10 months, after we squeeze this orange some more, we already start having this other stream of traffic coming in, right? So that's kind of the hard part, to balance short and long, and something I've been struggling with internally. So how have you been thinking about, or how do you think you'll be thinking about short versus long? I know you've talked about the couple of social channels and paid ads, and then SEO and some blogs, but what does that look like? Is it 80-20, short, long? Is it not that simple? Is it we have so much to go right away with all these things and worry about that later? Yeah, I'm just trying to think through this as well.
Yeah, 80-20 is probably about where it is in all seriousness right now. Like it's kind of 80% like short term of like, there's people sat in the pipeline, there's people that we've not talked to or that we had previously and, they were waiting to make a decision, or we kind of told them like, we're moving warehouse, so now is not really a good time for you to come on board. Like there's a lot of those kind of like low hanging fruit, I guess. And I would say like I have a good network of friends really that run businesses in the UK that I know are with other 3PLs that have not had a good experience, but they've kind of just not really known where to go. And as much as I've like recommended Hutch over the last couple of years, they've never really pulled the trigger. And I think like in some ways there's a lot of people there that I think we can give pretty good opportunities to and pretty good offers and just drag them across. I mean, to the point like we're literally going to offer like, free collection. We'll literally go like to your current 3PL's warehouse. Like we will collect your goods. We will bring them over. Like, we've got some fun offers that are kind of going to come for folks that are serious about actually doing fulfillment properly. I gotta get those signed off, so I probably can't talk too much about them right now. But if you're interested in finding a 3PL like in the next 3 months, like there are some cool offers coming out, Hutch. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, that's a really good way to think about it and look at it. I think is just starting with who's immediately closest to you. Like just because you're starting this role from scratch, in air quotes, like you've been in this space for almost a decade.
Yeah, really.
So like, you have plenty of contacts, people, brands, so like other connections. Like, oh, I've been recommending Hutch for the last couple of years for my own brand. I loved it so much, and they made an offer I couldn't refuse. Some Godfather type stuff right there. Like, an offer I couldn't refuse. And then you're like, yeah, I work for them now. Like, you guys know me as the entrepreneur. I'm now the head of growth at Hutch. That's how much I believe in this.
Yeah.
And like, people are like, oh, Tom's not just blowing smoke up our butts. Like, he means it. So I think that will be a good way to start. And I love how creatively you're thinking about, oh yeah, we'll come grab your stuff. Like, and you're just lowering the bar, lowering the friction. Like, they don't have to worry about it. Like, we have to finish our contract with the 3P, like our current partner, or like they're going to extra charge us to move it somewhere else again. You're like, no. We'll come get it. Like, just tell us where.
And honestly, even around that, I mean, we're trying to figure out ways. Most 3PLs, particularly in Q4, if you tell them that you're moving 3PL, are probably going to drag their heels and like, well, it's a 90-day SLA. Like, we don't have to move your goods out straight away. We're going to drag our heels. And so we're even looking at that, like, okay, how do we get goods out of other people's warehouses? Like, well, let's just start putting in B2B orders for like the entire stock, or like split it over two, and again, we'll just go and pick it up as if it's going to a retailer. Like, we'll figure it out. I mean, it's cheeky as hell.
Crap. I love that. That's like, it's almost giving me like Grinch Stole Christmas. Like, you're just going to go around and take everyone's presents and bring them back into your own, like, they're all for you now. That's super creative. I love it.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing that we're really trying to think about. Like, how do we help merchants that, we're having that discussion with them. Like, our 3PL is not going to get stuff out before Q4. Like, all right, let's find a way, because there must be a way.
Yeah, you're like, there's still time. It's not much time, but there's still time left. Like, I say this last few years since I've been doing this full-time e-commerce full-time. It's the Super Bowl. It's the main event. This is the time of the year for many brands and businesses. Some brands, like, up to 80% of the revenue comes in this time. 50%, 40, 30, like, huge, significant chunks. It's not every business is just 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%.
No.
Like, all throughout the year. So for so many, this is do or die time. It's crucial. And to you and the team at Hutch know that and understand that and lean into that and be like, look, we're not just trying to take your goods and your money and not like get a quick win. We're doing this for real, and we want partners to be with us for years.
Literally.
And, yeah. So if you're thinking like that, and you're trying to lower the friction to get them to come try it out, and you have, if you hate us or we can't get your orders out on this certain time, we'll go drop them off at your next 3PL for you, like, or whatever. Like, we're not going to lock you into these long-term contracts. So there's totally a lot of like angles and ways you guys can stand out.
There is.
So
you're even just touching on contracts. I mean, that's something that the Hutch, they do not do. It's a rolling monthly contract. That's it. If you want out within 30 days, like, you are fully within your rights to just take your stuff and walk away. Absolutely. No problem. Like, we don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, no, that's good.
The last couple of years, like, it hasn't. Like, they've just done such a good job of looking after people and just created such a decent service. Like, nobody's leaving.
Yeah. And that's the Godfather offer in the other way. Instead of offering you the job, they're offering it to their merchants and their clients and their partners. So I think that's really neat. I think that will be good for you guys. And it's one of those things that no one wants to find a new 3PL every 3 months or a couple times a year. It's the foundation. It's the it's the backbone. And there's so much opportunity there on cost savings, surprise and delight, and standing out from other brands, from the brand side. So if your 3PL understands that and gets that, and people don't leave Hutch, it's I should go start a store in the UK and have you guys help me out. But I'm sold, and so I'm really stoked for all this. I loved how he talked about the marketing versus sale. We mostly talked about the marketing part. On the sales part, do you really? We'll touch on a little bit. Do you have? You're using Pipedrive for the CRM, pretty good one, pretty well known. what sort of process or kind of flow is there? Is there do you have stages marked out already of inbound, first call, like that? Like, talk us through that a little bit if you can.
Exactly that. So it's been kind of building out. I mean, obviously it's going to be iterative. It's something that's going to evolve over time. I mean, the first month or two is really just going to be a lot of testing to see what works. But yeah, of course, it's, one, like, how do we find leads? Is it referrals? Like, where are people coming from? Are we just scraping lists and doing cold outbound? And again, kind of looking at that a couple of different ways of trying to categorize people. And in much the same way that, I would have done with like Klaviyo and using properties of like, where did someone come from? How did they discover us? Where are they in the journey? It's digging into that data even more. And because most of it, if we know a company's coming to us, like, we can look them up pretty quickly and see, what size are they? How long have they been operating? What are they selling? Like, we can get very specific with that sales approach, which,
yes.
I mean, I'll be honest, over the years, I have had so many emails, cold emails from 3PLs that really, like, I've just now kind of gone back through years worth of emails, pulled like all those flows, looked at everything that, they kind of grabbed me at the time in a positive way, but equally everything that kind of turned me off. And figuring out, like, what does that look like? And then kind of digging into their cadence. So, is it, there's an email on day 1, then day 5, then, like, what does this whole process look like? Right. And taking the big boys and girls, I mean, the Ship Bobs of the world, and again, looking at their processes. Because I know they've done a lot of testing. They're fairly large, well-funded. Like, something is clearly working over there. So, okay, what can we take from that we know works, or seemingly works, and reverse that a lot? But I think the biggest part for me is, like, it's kind of what I've done with my brands, my personal, like, DTC brands over the years, is how do I scale the unscalable? Which has really been, like, such a big mantra of Hutch anyway, of, like, how do we scale DTC orders in a way that shouldn't? So it's doing very much the same thing. Like, I'm more than happy to take 5 to 10 minutes to actually research a lead and figure out, like, exactly who they are before I make any kind of approach.
Yeah.
And just, like, figure out their exact needs. Where are they? How big are they? How many orders are they doing? Who are they serving? Where are they based? Where are they shipping? Like, it doesn't take that long, but it creates such a difference.
Yeah. It's not just, oh yeah, you filled out our contact form. So how can we help you? It's like, that's just not the right foot. Like, it's so reactive. We don't care. We want, like, you need to see if you're a good fit for us. Absolutely. Versus, hey, we can help. We absolutely can help you. You're in the right demo because of this, this, and this, and this, and this. And we have a few brands like you, like this, this, and this, or, where are you at now? Where are you headed? What problems have you had in the past that we can preemptively not run into again? So sales, I've never been in a sales role, like, as my only job. I've done sales at past agencies, freelance, when I had my own agency briefly. Like, I never thought sales is this, like, super complicated thing. I don't know. For me, I guess it just came naturally from being a empathetic person my whole life and just trying to care about other people and think about what they would want and need, both personally, professionally, relationships, friendships, throughout school. So I think you're super on the right track, and there's such easy ways to stand out when you're in the space like 3PLs, where you have the people that have just been around, legacy, the big players, or they're funded, and they have innovation in a lot of other ways. Yeah. And you can innovate quicker and faster and do the small things that stand out. And you're treating the brand owner one-to-one, because it's not just Hutch, it's Tom at Hutch with this new brand owner, or inquiring about the Hutch. Yeah. So
yeah, it is, man. It's funny. You kind of just touched on it there. It's your sales approach, I think, is probably quite similar to mine in the fact that, like, it's more of a consultative approach. It's actually, how do I sell someone? How do I help someone, as opposed to just selling someone? Because again, if I'm bringing someone onto Hutch, like, I want them to stay there for 2 to 3 years or longer, really. Like, that's worth spending an extra 10 minutes to do, as opposed to just firing through 100 people an hour and not really give a shit about any of them.
Right.
I know which ones are going to stick around.
Yeah. And it's less about, there's different approaches and balances to this, right? You're doing paid ads, you're doing organic, you're going to be doing blogs. So there's different levels of the short and long term, of the wide net and the narrow down. That's why there's the thing called the funnel. And it's not perfect. Absolutely. It's not always this step, then this step, then this step. But oftentimes, like, oh, I saw you on Twitter. I followed you, got your profile, went to your site. Then I got retargeted on LinkedIn, and I checked out your site again. Then I followed Tom because I saw he wrote this post. And that could be over like 3 months. It's not perfect, easily. Like, right? Like, especially for a pretty big decision like this. Mm-hmm. So that's, I think you're going to, like, I think you're already figuring it out, but I have full faith that you will continue to figure it out. And you'll think of clever ways and good value add ways to make people feel like you guys actually care, because you do, precisely. Versus just selling them. So man. Anything you want to wrap up or mention on that topic before we move on?
I don't think too much. No, honestly, I think that pretty well sums it up.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Nice, man. Excited. And you'll officially announce it pretty soon.
Probably tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow. Okay. So that should be yesterday if you're listening to this. So you already know that you've already heard about it on previous episodes. So excited for Tom. A quick reminder from our sponsor. Checkout Links allows you to create simple and effective short links that go straight to your checkout for your social media pages, paid ads, customer support tickets, direct messages, holiday-specific offers, brand new product launches, or even adding a QR code to your packaging or insert with a checkout link for easy reordering in just seconds. Once again, go to checkoutlinks.com to learn more and install that Shopify app. That's checkoutlinks.com/Matt. So I already kind of alluded to it earlier with Stumptown and trying to short versus long term, all these levers all at once. I've been really hooked on this lever versus button comparison. I've been huge on that. I just this is great. It makes so much sense in my mind because you pull the lever, and some levers you can just crank it down like immediately, and some levers are like, and then it just starts going on its own, and it takes time. Something happened, it went back up. No, come back down. And then there's what's already in place and the things you're already doing and how to optimize those buttons. So it's been 3 whole weeks at Stumptown for me. And I'm so wise and experienced now. But just because I can do all this stuff, Tom, doesn't mean I should. Just because I know who to hire and I know I will get such a good return on Stumptown's money, doesn't mean I should hire everyone and pull all these levers right away. Mm-hmm. Just because I know I can, I know how, and know it'll get a good result, most likely, but it doesn't mean I should. So how have you experienced this before with your brands or your businesses or your consulting or with Hutch even? What would be some advice or insight you'd give to me around this?
I mean, I'm having flashbacks to conversations I had, particularly when I was doing a lot more consulting. And really with all manner of merchants, it didn't matter if it was someone that was doing $50,000 a year, or if it was someone that was doing $500,000 a month. It was kind of the same of what's the 2 things that would really move the needle right now? Where are 2 areas that you can really focus on that you think are going to produce 80% of the results? And literally just 2. And that, for a small store, that could be as much as just go and get reviews. You're not collecting any. So go and make that your sole focus. Go and talk to every single customer and badger the hell out of them until you get a review. That's your homework for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Or, if it was a bigger merchant, it was, all right, let's dial into more. And it may be something as simple as you guys are not optimizing your flows. You haven't looked at them in 3 years since you set them up. This is going to be the focus, because there is way more that we can squeeze from this, and we're just not. And again, there may be 400 different things within the business we could do, but do we hypothesize that this is where we can kind of bring in the most return on our spend right now, without spreading ourselves too thin, and without trying to do 20 different projects across 20 different agencies and manage everything at once and keep running the business?
Right.
So really, it's long story short, in a synopsis, what's the 2 things I think I would really focus on? You think are going to move the needle most.
Okay. I knew I wasn't the only one who had this problem.
No. Far from it.
So that's good. That helps me feel a little lighter and a little like less hard on myself. So, okay, 2 things at a time. Or the 2 most important things, or I think that could get the 80% of the result. Is that within the next 30 days, week, 90 days? What time frame are we looking at? Because I think that could depend. 2 biggest things this week. Those could be quick fixes that we only have to do once, and then it's good for a while. Versus the next 90 days, I'm gonna iterate on my ad creative until I get this much above profitability. Like there's such different sizes of these levers.
There is.
So
that definitely is. I think I would take it like, okay, let's go back and say like, what's the outcome? What is it you're trying to achieve? Are we saying like we want to see a 20% lift within 30 days, within 3 months? Like what is the goal?
Yeah, dude. So that's
okay. No, honestly.
No, yeah. No, so that's the thing. It's like I've been thinking like I've just been combing through the ad account, the analytics, the website, and all this data, and I'm like, man, there's so many like quick fixes and levers I'm being pulled that I've already started pulling or in process, like the Google Freelancer, the Shopify rebuild. We started talking about wholesale B2B and partnering with Airbnb groups. There's about 10 groups that without any program in place that already consistently buy through our D2C site for their locations.
That's very cool.
So, right? So we're like, there's so many things we could like tackle and like take on. And I'm like, I'm brand new to the in-house thing, and I have just one brand to focus on every day. And I'm just like, I'm hungry. I'm starving. I want to just get after it all. So the goal is, I think the equity firm that bought Stumptown, their goal is profitable growth year over year and to continue to be profitable along the way. And they're happy with literally like 20% growth year over year. Very like reasonable expectations.
Okay.
Right? Like super, I'm not saying thinking too small, but that's what they knew. They were inside the jar and they couldn't like see it like out of it and know what was actually happening. And then I come in, I'm like, holy shit, you're too small of a jar, man. Like we can swim in this huge, like we can level up to all this big stuff, all these levers and buttons. So my goal is more like 2 to 3xing the brand in the next 12 to 15 months, which I don't think will be, God, I'm going to eat my words. It will not be, it will not be complicated. It will be hard. I have to do the work, but I know what to do. So it's fix Facebook, scale it up. I already am starting to fix Google with the Freelancer, so I don't even have to like do that one, you know? And that will naturally get more help once Facebook gets going.
Yep.
Shopify is going to fix a lot of things on its own in the next month.
Yep.
So like, that's it. But I can't fathom only just doing that every day for the next year. Like I legitimately think we can 2 or 3x the brand just doing that.
Honestly, and I agree. I genuinely agree. I think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think within the next 30 to 60 days, you will have a new Shopify site migrated, probably ready to go.
Yeah.
So that's one. And that by like the end of 30 days, like that's probably taken off your plate. Really. Yeah. Again, it may only be like 80% efficiency of what you could actually do with that Shopify store. I mean, I'm sure you could spend forever just optimizing the heck out of it. But it would be enough to then like, okay, we've now got decent landing pages, decent site for customers to navigate through. Right now, let's go and fix Facebook ads because they're actually going to be more efficient because we fixed like this foundation. So again, then you've already figured out Google. I think you've got someone to come in and take on that component of it. So like you've already ticked off 2 things, really. So now it's okay, Facebook ads, and what's the other focus? Because we're saying like the site is kind of taken care of, really. Google's kind of taken care of.
Or it will be because once we're on Shopify, we'll have a different feed, like shopping feed tool that he wants to use, and than actually do shopping because we're only doing search right now. So it's like that will be fixed, and it's not really on my plate again. So just to clarify. So I think. Go ahead.
I'm gonna hypothesize this isn't something you're going to be involved in day to day. I mean, the site migration, there's going to be daily questions. You're not going to be in the weeds every day. Same with Google Ads. It might be like a weekly or bi-weekly call to just, is everything going the right way? What do you need? How do I get out of your way to do your job?
Yes, I'm trying to reduce the turnaround time on questions, deliverables, assets, access. That's all I'm doing for those two. I had the project kickoff call. I went through a few different options and calls and emails with everyone. I picked this agency. I had the project kickoff call with them. We gave them the assets and access, and they're coming back to us with wireframes probably this week. Cool. So then once they give that to me, my job is to efficiently and quickly review and make sure that all makes sense. This is what we talked about. This is what we thought about. This is what I had in mind. Why did you put this here? Or can you tell me more about this section? And give that back to them as soon as possible so that I'm removing that blocker and it's back on them.
Yep.
And so that as soon as they get more feedback from me, the sooner they can revise or go into design. The sooner I approve design, the sooner they can start actually making it live on Shopify, adding the apps and launching. So that's like the next 30 days, like you're saying. That's like that's one of them. But it's still not the big, it's the biggest lever, but it's not the most time for me. It's such a high impact thing that we're like, cool, here's however much money we're giving you over the next 45 days. And there you go. Matt will coordinate most of it. And it's like, that's like a couple hours a week at most.
Perfect.
For all that, right? Yeah. So there's that. Google's going to be taken care of. We have a call every 2 weeks. We're not at that high of a spend where I don't think we need to have a shorter loop right now. And there's so much wrong and we're kind of just starting over. So that's cool. And then Facebook, I'm going to restructure the account and have one campaign versus 3 different campaigns like they have been at such small spend. It's like kind of wild. And I'll have 3 weeks of data like with this setup minimum before we get to Shopify. Then I can kind of compare and contrast like, cool, I actually don't need to pay $1,000, $3,000, $5,000 for new ad creative immediately. Like I know I want to and need to, but if we're already profitable now, I can scale up more, and then Shopify will like 0.5 to 1x increase the conversion rate, the load speed, actually collect emails. So long story short, I think it's emails is the next one after the site and Google Ads.
Okay.
That's so actually collecting emails, getting the flows set up, having a consistent campaign. And again, this is me trying to overcomplicate. I'm like, I know this freelancer, he's money. I know this small agency, they're money. Like, I just want to hire them right away to do it. But I think we can save that, either spend on ads or just have more profit. And I can do literally plain text emails for the next couple months. And just test out everything, get some insight and info, have some data, and then hire someone later on.
That I think is smart. Genuinely, I think that is smart. Dive into figure out the Facebook side of things, and then take on email at the same time. Really, and nail those two. And you're right. Like it doesn't need to be overly designed or overly complicated. Like just getting some basic structures, some email capture in there, and like you say, just collecting data. Like let's figure out roughly what works. So in 2-3 months' time, if we want to go get a nice design agency in and really get some designers in to do it properly, there's a bare bones skeleton of here's what we've been doing, here's all the data, here's what we think works. Have at it. And then optimize it. Again, get it to 80%.
Yeah. And I know enough about email and Klaviyo to get it to maybe I'm selling myself short, but maybe 50 to 70% with terms of the flow setup, the like subject lines, how to like what should be included in an email, like in the body. My design skills are just incredibly mediocre. So, but that's what I think. A lot of our customers are on the older side. I think plain text emails will be fine to start. Anything we do on the email side is better than zero, like before, yes, right? So it's getting that integrated with any customer support. As we scale up ads on both channels, there will be an increase of that stuff. So it's just getting those integrations set up. It's making sure on the new Shopify site, like our FAQs or all that stuff is set up. The review flow is, working the right way. So I don't need to pay someone an additional amount to figure all that out for me when, as of right now, I have more time than money.
There you go.
To kind of sum it all up and come to a conclusion, because as of right now, I'm salaried with Stumptown, and they'll pay me the same amount each month. Mm-hmm. And so I fill my time how I think it's best used.
Yeah.
And at 6 months, I have a performance bonus incentive. If I hit this number, I get this chunk of change. So it's a pretty penny. And then at 12 months, we review. If you get this number, it's this. If you get this number, it's that, right? So and some of those numbers are less revenue based and also like more net profit related, right? So it's actually talking myself into this. Like, I'm so glad we do this every week. This is so helpful. Instead of being stuck in my own head, it's like I'm almost incentivized to hold off hiring people if I can do 50 to 60 to 70% of it and get it up and running. I'm like, cool. I got the basics. I got the core set up. I didn't fuck up anything massively. And we didn't burn money on some random agency or freelancer, like, because they don't know what's going on. Cool. Now let's tune it up to the 80, the 90, 95%. Like, man. So thanks for guiding me through that.
You're welcome. I hope it helps because, genuinely, I think just on that, like, I think it gives you a stronger case as well. Like, let's say you do all the email yourself, and in 3 months' time, like, we can see the increase in email of like revenue coming from Klaviyo. That now gives you a far stronger leg to go back to the rest of your team and say, like, here's what I have managed to do. I'm not an expert. I think if we optimize this, here is what we may be able to achieve. And like, no, at that point, no one's going to say no.
You're like, you're paying someone $3,000 to $5,000 a month, and over a course of a year, we're going to get 100, 150K back, maybe.
Yeah. Now that's a very logical investment.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Man, it's like, it's so interesting. I loved being able to talk it out and have you help guide me. So send me the invoice. The last 20 minutes.
You're on. Our rates did recently go up, so
they actually they doubled during Q4. So
surge pricing.
Yeah, surge. Yes. So I think that's super helpful, man.
Yeah, but one thing I'm just going to add to that. So
please.
I'm going back probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 years at this point. Email marketing was something I did very badly, I'll be honest. And I took myself through one of Ezra Firestone's courses, and I think it was Smart Email Marketing 2.0 when it first came out. And I can tell you, we're talking about like plain text emails. A lot of the Boom by Cindy emails are very text heavy. Again, their audience is kind of 50 plus. But like, I took a lot of those kind of strategies and I applied it to my own businesses. I applied it to like clients, everyone I was consulting with. The thing that really gave me permission was like seeing Ezra running this business that was doing at the time like 40 to 50 million a year with very simple emails, very simple structures, templates. And again, it was very formulaic. It was very process and systems driven. He knew exactly what worked, in what order, what the copy was, how this impacted the next part of the flow, when to spit people out, which triggers to use. It gave me so much permission to almost just, in some ways, copy, but then apply like my own brand to it. But it was the biggest unlock for me of like, I didn't need to design fancy emails. Like, here's a guy literally doing 40, 50 million a year with like 40% of their revenue coming from email, and it's all text based. Like, why am I spending 3 hours like every time I'm trying to design an email in Canva or Figma or whatever else? Like, it just doesn't need to be. Whereas I could just whip something up in like 10, 15 minutes, follow a template, it has exactly, if not better, a result. It was such a ridiculous unlock for me.
Damn. No, that's so cool. That's so good. Ezra's a goat, man. He's so good. He helped all of his stuff, his free courses. I did a couple like paid trainings or workshops and stuff for the Facebook side. Man, all of his stuff is so good, and it's like
it is.
It's replicable. It's since it's so system and process based. Not, oh yeah, here's my $10,000 a month email designer. They're like, this is how you got the results. Like, no, like I typed this up and someone else sent it out.
Yeah.
And so that it makes it accessible. So it helps. It's really cool. Yeah. Good add on there. There's so many good free resources like this podcast to be able to start, right? And start and learn and kind of, especially if you're bootstrapped, like a lot of brands are, not everyone's VC funded, can just hire all of their best friends right away, which as much as I'd want to do that, I just can't because we're a bootstrapped, profitable, growing brand that wants to be in business for the next decade or longer, because it's already been in business for a decade. Yeah. And so it's a totally different mindset shift. So simple scales is a good way to summarize all that stuff. So, okay. One last one here is we've kind of teased it out before in passing. And, if you've listened to the last episode, it was not me and Tom, it was me and Richie. So every other episode we switch off. So Richie and Tom are my two good buddies. All three have been talking about podcasting for years, and finally gotten it up and moving the last couple months. And so instead of me and Richie separating out yet another show for me to do and build and grow and scale separately, keeping it simple and just putting it under the Brand Builders entity. So we all have been talking and like, man, we think that we talk about this stuff. We do random breakdowns and teardowns and discussions of other brands or other businesses, like for free, just like for fun. Like, man, like how do we like package this up and put it in a nice little bow and do some like very straightforward but super valuable consulting and audits and advisory kind of stuff. So I went crazy one night and just jammed all this out and turned it around to them in a day or two, and they're like, "What the fuck, man? What's going on? This is so good. How long did it take you?" Like 3 hours? What? How did it? So we had all this like massive plan in place and these different levels of service, like the starting advisory role where it's me, Tom, and Richie. You get a 160 to 90 minute group call a month, and then to talk or the brand founder, and then in between those calls every month, you get email or text support and like in little bits in between. So that's like the entry level. We're we're balancing trying to make money, but actually bringing value to brands. But we all, like, as you guys know, we have plenty of other stuff going on. We all have this podcast now. Tom has Hutch and his brands or his other stuff. Richie has Birdie and all of his other stuff. I have Stumptown, the podcast, all this other stuff. So we're trying to I got really excited, got super stoked about it. I was like, how do we scale this to $1 million a year? Within 12 months, how do we do it? And I'm like, is that really the goal? That's what everyone says and thinks and shares. So after giving that brief context, I only shared the advisory one yet. There's still 2 more I'll share, but it's been a couple weeks since we talked about this initially and I brought this up. And based on what I shared just now, how are you feeling about it? What do you want to get out of this? Just tell me your gut reaction to all this.
Yeah, man. I think so. Yeah, for me, I'm still doing the odd consulting call. I still run a little group where every couple of weeks we get on. It's literally almost a group coaching session, and just it's a mastermind, to be honest, of like, just bouncing ideas off each other and figuring out like, okay, have you tried this? What works? Did you do this? Just moving each other forward. It's Shopify's kind of rhetoric of, rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah, it gives me so much fulfillment, which in the same ways, you, me and Richie have been kind of talking about doing this. I think for me, whether it's one brand every month or it's 100 brands every month, I love getting into the weeds of businesses and like just figuring out like where are things broken, where are the inefficiencies. In much the same way, we're kind of talking about doing it with Stumptown, where I'm looking at Hutch of like what's worked, what hasn't, why. I love it. It's like just tearing apart the machine and just looking behind the curtain. I don't know. It gives me such a weird little kick, and I know that's probably nerdy as hell to say.
Yeah, no, it super is. But like, that's the point. I mentioned like we would do this and have done it for free. But as we've also, I think, talked about, people don't always take that advice that they get for free and actually do it and apply with it and stick with it. But if they're paying us, especially if it's a one-time decent lump sum for this in-depth audit, like the next two tiers, like a gut check audit, which is a little quicker and kind of high level, and then the deep dive audit, which is like we're going to sit with your brand for a month and pick through it and talk about it, and then prioritize what levers and buttons to pull and press for you so that you have this roadmap of prioritized actions to take, people to hire. Oh, and if you need to hire these couple people, like for these roles, you can post about it on, surprise, I'm dropping a job board soon. So you can post about the role here. And then, oh, cool, yeah, we know a few people like that we've worked with. That would be really good. Let's warm intro you and just be helpful that way. So we want to, I don't want to speak for you, but it's I think we're pretty similar. Like I don't want to help a million people like a little bit. No. I want people who are like serious, that value our time and information and experience and will actually follow through with what we tell them to do. Okay, and this is not a one-off consulting call, which there's a time and place for them. And I've done them, and I'm like, cool, that was an easy $300. Like what? I'm like, that's weird. So, but I didn't know if like they stuck with it or what happened afterwards. So I didn't like the one-off model either. So I'm just trying to figure out from my end of what's the right number of people, the number of clients, the proper pricing, so it's worth our time to do as a side project, because we all have all these things going on. Literally all have head of growth jobs right now. So kind of interesting. So just trying to balance all that out. And so like, what is enough? Like, I don't want it to be $1 million business within a year. Like that sounds stressful. I don't need $1 million in a year. That's not, that'd be cool, but like, that sounds like a burnout waiting to happen. So how do we go about this? Like, do we just start with an MVP and just like, hey, here's this, like, we're trying this out. Here's the landing page, or here's the Google Doc. If this sounds interesting, message us. Like, is it that simple? And like not building out this whole wait list and Shopify and like adding the audit as a like in stock item, like only once a month. Like I immediately go to like, how do we scale this thing? We didn't even start yet. So just talk to me like how do we start this thing? And then how do we make sure it's worth our time and their time? And what of the 3 tiers of like services? That's all.
Okay. So yeah, my brain's going to a few different places. I mean,
cool.
First off, landing page wise, like I'm a big fan of doing like MVP, like minimum viable product. Frankly, just whip up a landing page in like 20 minutes. It can be on Shopify, but it can be like literally just a theme, tear it apart. Like it's just like 3 sections: the copy, video, and like here's a payment link, or just drop your email, like something that just And it can be as much as like make a deposit of $1. Just give me some kind of intent. And I'm not asking you to pay for everything up front, but like just make a commitment, and that could be an email, that can be literally $1 to just book a place. I think just getting people to take like a credit card out and actually make a vote with $1, I think makes a big difference. In terms of like what do you want it to look like? Again, I think it kind of comes back to the conversation we were having earlier of like, what's the goal? And I know that's going to be different for you, me, and for Richie. Like, we're all going to have different ideas of what success looks like within this. But I think it's coming to some kind of agreement between the three of us of like, what is it we're looking out of this? Is it to work with one brand a month? Is it to work to, like taking home $100,000 a year each in additional revenue? Is it like just mortgage money every month? Like, what does it look like to each of us? And so that is going to vary a little bit, but I think it's then between the three of us kind of meeting some kind of agreement between the three of us. And again, just planning out. It could be this for the first 3 months. If it goes well, we'll review and look at like, okay, what's months 3 to 6 and so forth.
Yeah. Cool. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think for me, starting out, just to see if this idea is wanted and needed by other people. If you're a brand doing at least $500,000 a year and you pay us $5,000, a one-time thing, and we'll let you pay it over 3 months, I am certain we can help you plug holes in your business, identify yellow flags, and tell you where to double, triple down on, and how, and then in what order to do it in.
Yeah,
you'll get that back within a month. Like,
I would almost guarantee, like, probably within 30 days, we could find $5,000 worth of revenue just to cut that would pay that bill.
That's really good. That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, and improve efficiency going forward, so that you make that money back within no time. 30 days or less. I would be staggered if there was not some between the three of us that we couldn't do on that.
Right, and that's across the whole brand. It's not just your Facebook account. It's not just your website. It's operations, fulfillment, like the website, ads, other ads, email, organic social, wild, crazy ideas I have that might work for you, and you want to be creative, and you have more time than money, and you want to do organic stuff. That's one of my favorite things I don't get to charge for. Like, I've never been able to like offer that as a service, but I can just include it as part of this. And then it's not like, here's what to do. Here's what, how, and why to do it in this order.
Yep.
And it's very brand dependent. Oh, you have this skill. You have this background. Your product's like this. Oh, you do have a freelancer for design. You have a freelancer for Facebook already. Like, we will custom craft it for you. This will take each of us like a dozen hours, probably over the course of a month.
At least.
And so combined, package it up, nice and neat. We'll do a review call with the founder at the end. We'll have looms from each one of us breaking down our sections. Like, I can't see how it doesn't work. Maybe we're not booked up all the time, and maybe that's okay. We're all like, we keep saying plenty busy, but I think it's that going deep in like that, and also helps us lean into that shiny object syndrome. And like, oh, cool, this is sick. Look at this brand. We dive deep. We help them out. We go through it. Okay, a month later, it's like, all right, well, there you go. Like, if you want to do an ongoing advisory service, for like, we can follow up and check in afterwards. Cool. If not, here's the roadmap. And then next month, different brand. And so it's like, that's for me kind of.
It keeps it fresh enough.
It keeps it fresh enough. It keeps it. The scope is set.
Yep.
And we have the categories. We have like the three of us have our own specialties and like experiences, and we can like pretty much cover the like brand. And then as we go, we can always either change the service or review, or have like specialists do like mini audits of each channel or section as well. So we might lose a little bit of money from us, but they'll end up getting a better, even more detailed and like specific things. So there's a bunch of ways to go about it. I'm not trying to turn this into my main job in the next 12 months or 24 months. Like, not really. Like, I love what I'm doing at Stumptown and with the podcast. So I think I'm just trying to like set up a little playground that will help keep my creativity and like inside scoop on what other people are doing and getting points of comparison, learning like from you guys, Tom and Richie, like super intimately of like how they think versus us just chit-chatting about it over text and like, no, this like we're going deep for a real brand and like providing real value. So that's what I'm excited about. And like, it'll be a good chunk of change and we'll provide real value and we can keep having our main jobs. And then we can turn that, we can save that, we can spend it. I can like try to scale up the podcast more. I can start scale up the brands that I've been working on, all this stuff. Right. So that's kind of just where my head's at initially. And I'm pretty sure, I can't speak for him, but I'm pretty sure Richie's kind of on the same page. He just wants to make a little extra money for what we do for fun. As like you said, we nerd out about this as is. So like, why not do it for real and then have someone pay us and they'll actually do it. So
yeah, 100%. And you're right. I mean, you touched on it probably 10 minutes ago or so of like, the people that we've all done this for free. All three of us have kind of done this sort of thing for free, like laid out roadmaps for people, and 99.9% of the time they don't do anything with it. And honestly, it's painful when you sit there, like exactly everything they should do, and you've walked through for hours and laid it out, and they don't do anything with it. Like there are genuinely been times where I want to just grab the reins and just do it myself. Like just get out of the way. Like this could be so much better, but it's. I think with the line that I've heard so many times over the years is, people who pay attention. And it's so true. The more I have charged over the years for consulting services, for, deliverables, the more like I've put my rates up for consulting. It's so often it's weirdly like not about me. And I know this is going to sound just ridiculous, but the more I've increased that rate, the more people have paid attention on calls, the better questions they have asked because they know they have a limited time and they know that they are paying through the nose for it. And they go away from that call and they follow up. And again, like, because I've charged a healthy figure for that call, I do not mind doing the email follow-ups for free. Like, even if it takes me out of scope, because they have paid a decent size of cash, it's okay if that like bleeds over. Like, I'm more than willing to go out of my way. And to the point, like, a lot of the folks actually I have invested with, because they paid so much, because they paid attention, because they actually took action, they have built so much better businesses that I have then put money back into them that they paid me in the first place. So like they get the money back. I've gone to honestly reinvest. Well, like I'm then a customer that is buying so much, or I'm buying it for friends and family because like I believe in the brand so much because I know the owner so intimately, and I know that they are executing so damn well.
Because I help them. Like that's me. That's like part of that is my brand a little bit. Yeah. Oh, that's super cool, man. That's really great. And I think that's ultimately, we're all kind of aligned on the values and the short-term goal of doing something like this. And it's like we just want to help, man. We just want to help people.
Yeah, seriously.
We just like we're not trying to.
I don't want to shaft anybody, genuinely.
Yeah.
No, I just genuinely want to help, and like I want the folks that are serious about it because again, with like the introduction side, whether it's like different factories or again different consultants or people that can just help like find efficiencies, it makes those kind of introductions so much easier because again, that owner is serious.
Yep. Yeah. So not only we'll wrap up. Well, not only are we going to help the brand owner, we're also going to help the other folks around them. We know who's good, who's not so good, who to stay away from across the board in these different areas. So you're hiring like a group of consultants who give a huge we care way too much about it. And it's a limited time scope. So you will get an outcome and the deliverable within 30 days. It will be prioritized. It will be categorized. And you'll know like the next immediate step to take. And then you'll know who to hire in 3 months or where to find them or start a conversation. So, and then especially if we make it founder friendly, like the payments over the next 3 months instead of like all in 1 month. If you're like a little smaller and cash flow, whatever, or you're just in a rough spot, but we know you're serious and this is all you're doing and working on and like putting your all into this, like we're not a big agency. It's like scaling this up. We're taking on one brand a month on the audit side, and maybe one brand a month on the like advisory side. So like, and I'm guessing it will come from the audit that will stick with this. Like we'll click with one founder, and we like this brand. We want to help them along, and it's like that's not the most efficient use of our time. It's not, but like we're only doing it once, and we're like one brand at a time. So I'd rather help 12 people over the next year significantly than sort of help 100 people and they sort of don't care. So
yeah, I'm very much with you.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, that was really good. We'll save a couple of the other topics for next time. Thanks for jamming and helping me out and listening about Stumptown.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Congrats to your Hutch stuff again. I'm excited for that to grow and go. And thanks for thinking out loud with me on the advisory audit stuff. So, everyone else, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. We'll next episode, I'll catch you with Richie. So take it easy. That's it for today. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. I love being able to do this and meet with people that are smart and enthusiastic and just want to share what they have to know about all things D2C. Every rating and review and episode you share with a friend means a ton to me as I continue to bootstrap this show as part of my small little media brand, High Key Geek. If you haven't checked out my other show, E-Commerce Uncovered, you should. It's a little more tactical and practical, and I've guest experts on to learn from freelancers, agency owners, in-house marketers, and founders, all in an effort to help you continue to bootstrap your D2C brand profitably. 2 episodes a week will have you staying up to date on the ever-changing industry and learning fundamental concepts and tactics for you to apply to your own brand. That's E-Commerce Uncovered on the High Key Geek YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple, or anywhere else you find your podcasts. Catch you next time.